Okay, I think we can start now. Just a reminder to everyone, this is also recorded. So if you have missed it today, we tend to get a lot of people over the next few days joining in, listening in, wherever they are around the world. Appreciate time zones are different for everyone, so we can kick off. So first of all, I'm Simon from the team Kitsumon. I'm sure you guys have heard me before on here. We're delighted to welcome our new partners, exciting partners, Yesports. We've got Matt here from Yesports as well. Welcome, Matt. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah, doing fantastic. Very excited to be here.
Awesome. So I guess, first and foremost, I want to kick this off for our audience in particular. So we've obviously had announcements out last week about the partnership and things like this. But if you just want to give us a quick lowdown, Matt, over a few minutes of yourself and the team and what Yesports is about, and then we'll go into a few really cool discussion points that we got on the agenda today.
Yeah, fantastic. That sounds great. So we'll dive into the team first, I guess. We've got a truly decentralized team. We operate all around the world, originally out of Australia, but now we span Australia, Singapore, Europe, North America as well, which is truly great. So it's become a 24-hour operation as the idea has grown and bloomed into a full platform over the last 12 months. Team from ex-Google marketers to our founder, which has been in the web3 space for 3 or 4 years, helping startups get off the ground. Bringing a lot of strength and experience in that way. And myself, I'm from a play-to-earn focused background, and working with some notable projects such as Gods Unchained, working to figure out how to bridge that gap between play-to-earn gaming and trad gamers, and be able to explain the validation that comes from gaming in Web3 in a way that gamers will be receptive to. And it's been a beautiful challenge. But as yourself experiencing over there at Kitsumon, something that's getting closer and closer to being real, which is very exciting. And now we have Yesports here. After 12 months, we partnered with a few esport teams through our decentralized finance platform, Yieldly, which is our sister company. And at the beginning of those discussions, what we learned very quickly is that esport teams are looking for new and exciting ways that they can bring value to their fans, while also monetizing their fan base, but giving an exchange back to fans. And in a Web2 world, it was increasingly difficult for teams to rely on anything outside of sponsorship. And through that conversation and some internal research, we birthed the idea of Yesports. And, fast forward to today, we're signed 10 plus global esports teams from across 5 continents, and amassing 30 million fans that are set to have access to our platform over the next 6 months as we set to launch the first line of products from our teams. We're offering esport teams a line of Web3 products that they can leverage and remain in full control over, to offer a whole host of different experiences to their fans, whether it be, in Web3 digitally or across real life as well, and things that we'll dive into deeper here. But we've been leveraging NFT memberships as a service, which are fully customizable for each team to create their own fan-first experiences, alongside a gamified and esports-centric metaverse, which brings us to our partnership with Kitsumon, where we're looking to really plug in play-to-earn projects and give them a platform that has access to millions and millions of gamers and esport fans across the globe, where we can really help to grow out that Web3 gaming space and bring esports into a Web3 world as well. So I guess that's, a nice high-level overview of what we do here at Yesports, and looking forward to get into some more of the specifics on that with you, Simon.
Awesome. Thanks, Matt. Yeah, it's a brilliant intro. For sure, echo those points. It's very exciting. As we're all gamers anyway, of course. Esports is a huge mechanism of gaming in general. We've done some recent pieces on the history of esports and things that's really interesting. how it's all developed, and especially over like the last 10, probably 15 years especially. It's obviously been going on a bit longer than that, of course, but I mean, some of the numbers that we kind of like pull out here, the statistics research that we've done recently, you're looking at some significant numbers here, Matt. We're looking at, like, in general, I mean, there's over like it's probably higher now, but I know last year was like echoed that it was around 3.2 billion gamers worldwide, and we're going to touch on some of these numbers as well again in a minute, but there's over 700 million people out there just watching games from a streaming perspective and just watching other gamers play games, which is quite a weird thing to think in a way, because you're like, well, maybe you would rather want to play the game yourself, but actually the entertainment factor is quite significant, and whether it's tournament based or just watching someone playing a game from just their home office or whatever, there's something intriguing about it, in the sense like you're either trying to learn how to better yourself in a game, or you just have, instead of maybe watching TV or like a Netflix series or something, you actually find something more entertaining in the gaming sphere. So there's really cool applications here, and as I said, really big numbers. And in fact, like with just esports alone, I think the numbers are pretty big out there in terms of how many users we've got the opportunity for. But you mentioned as well, of course, the big part of yourselves is the gamers themselves. And as I said, there's over 3.2 billion of them out there, and if we can like continue to bridge this traditional market to Web3, I think it's been like really exciting. I guess my question to you guys, I mean, obviously with the background of esports and the fantastic kind of journey you guys have been on, how do you feel like the overall, or like the overview of the esports market is right now, in terms of like Web3, which is still very early, obviously, but perhaps also like maybe a comparison with the existing esports markets that out there? Like I said, it's been around for maybe over a decade now. How do you feel these markets are sort of plodding along, and how do you see a transition occurring potentially in the very near future?
Yeah, no, it's a great point, and like you say, the market is absolutely massive, and it's in a sense prime for the picking. And what's really exciting is, as you say, Web3 is still very young. Play to earn gaming, game finance, the whole ecosystem is still in its absolute foundational stages and showing a lot of promise there. Esports has been around for a little bit longer and amassed the big numbers that you're talking about in terms of fans. However, looking at esports currently at the moment, we just see a big focus for companies and brands within esports and esport teams that really want to make it. They're in that top tier level, that tier 1 level, and they're relying on big, heavy sponsorships, and then having to participate in all kinds of global events. And as a gamer, it can be quite restrictive in a sense that they have to build out the internal teams and get on marketing teams and get on BD teams and all these kind of things. And the operation can become very big very quickly, and that's okay for some of these top level teams, the tier 1 teams. But there's just so many promising esport teams out there that have really loyal fan bases. And as you say, this has changed from people watching TV to playing the games themselves. And I think it's because it's a very real experience that these players can join into an esports event and consume some watching Counter-Strike or League of Legends or whatever it might be, and then they go and have that very real experience with their friends straight away in the lounge room. They never have to leave the one spot. And in that develops a different kind of fan than you might see in traditional sports, for example, where they're constantly engaged and they're constantly consuming. They've got it all on their phones to participate in the game itself, or watch their favorite teams undertake competitions or what have you. And I think what we're seeing in the market at the moment is almost a little bit of stagnation, in that teams are just relying on these heavy sponsorships, and there's only a small percentage of these teams that are getting those huge numbers. Like you see things with Fnatic and some of the teams that we've signed with Talon Esports, Boom, and the largest team out of LATAM, Infinity. But then there's a lot of other teams that are just as good and are birthing right now, that are looking for novel ways to tap into their fan base, to grow their brands, and really launch the whole industry itself. And that's where I think that conjunction with Web3 really comes in. There's a whole host of different avenues that are yet to be explored, are yet to be even conceived, where esport teams can engage with one another. Tournaments can, the whole tournament experience from a fan point of view can be totally lifted when we start thinking about what the metaverse might bring to that. And NFTs in gaming, it's been a strong point. Originally, NFTs birthed in the art world, but when we look at their application in the gaming space, we just see, an infinite amount of possibilities to engage gamers, engage teams, and drive experiences that you can't even think of yet. And that's what's really, really exciting. So I guess in terms of your question, we've got two young industries that are exploring novel ways to come together, and we're seeing that from the esports teams. They're really looking to wade into the waters of the Web3 world and see what potential it offers them. And we're getting a lot of traction every day, a lot of emails, teams reaching out. Even some traditional sport teams have started reaching out. So for the future of the industry, that's set to be, I forget the exact number, but however many billions by 2028, we're really at a very early stage between two young industries that are naturally connected and naturally are very mutually beneficial.
Well, that's it, isn't it? And I think there's some really interesting points there, and particularly around. I always find maybe even with my personal kind of crypto and blockchain kind of journey, is when you first hear about something, you hear specific buzzwords or keywords, and you know about them word wise, but you don't know perhaps the technology behind them or what it actually entails. But I feel like we're in a very interesting transitional period, especially over the next couple of years, particularly for gaming. And you touched on the head just then, about some esports teams warming to this technology and this area. And I guess some of it is down just to a numbers game, really, because when you say to someone well, actually, in this particular year, X amount of revenue is generated, and this is only a small percent. In fact, I was looking the other day, and I think we put some statistics in our white paper. This is from 2020. So I don't think there are any numbers yet of 2021. I don't know how long it takes to calculate these things, but there's only out of crypto users or gamers in general, roughly there's only about just under 2% of gamers hold cryptocurrency. So we're talking about this big number of 3.2 billion, and this is just gamers. We're not talking about esports teams here. So there's a big gulf here to be filled, and I think the likes of yourselves and some of these games like ourselves out there who are trying to, I think in terms of partnerships, there's always a great marketing philosophy, of course, but I think the ultimate goal as well is to figure out how we can bridge these numbers more and more. And I think there's a lot more education to be done, and a lot more things like live events and use cases. Use cases are very important. You mentioned about NFTs, the application through art mainly, but yeah, NFTs are applied to anything and everything. With something that's not a 1-to-1 ratio. And I was thinking, if you have live esports events, and if you attend them, you get an NFT, or you can see certain things through AR or even XR these days, and people's participation in these tournaments change as well, because you've got this aspect of view to earn mechanism coming in now with, as I said, 700 odd million people watching games. They can now earn money watching games. This will then entice a lot more other people to go, really, I can watch games and get paid for this, but also I can get paid for playing games. These play to earn, view to earn mechanisms are huge, and I think this is really exciting to help develop the numbers. And of course, it's not just about the monetary values of how much people can make in these games. It's for me, about the engagement principle, the interaction principle, defining something so different to what we're used to. In the traditional gaming markets, some of the, I wouldn't say stagnant's the right word, but some of the games aren't perhaps developing to the new world that we're entering, especially with the metaverse. And that's where Web3 comes in my opinion, where it can start advancing games to a completely new ownership level, transferring your assets from game to game, combining games. I mean, think about this, Matt, going to an esports tournament or one that's online, and it's mixing games together. You can pull your avatars across using smart contract technology in the background to have one character from one game racing in another game, and vice versa, and all of this cool stuff. And I think these are really big points to get across to the people outside of the Web3 experience. But what's really exciting is that you guys are working with some top esports teams already. More will come for sure, because as I said, they're going to start hearing more about this. We start seeing more trade events and events in general pulling across these narratives. We see a lot of sponsorship deals and sponsorship announcements at the moment through all sports, via crypto channels, exchanges, and things like this. There's a big movement to occur, and I think this is like super exciting. But in your mind, Matt, like, not just ourselves, but in general, with all your game partners out there and partners in general, how do you see that those and ourselves at Kitsumon and yourselves could help bridge that traditional gaming audience with a Web3 mentality?
Yeah, this is really the crux of it, isn't it? Is how to get them on, and not you put a series of roadblocks that turn them off from the get-go. So I think, a very plain answer to that is, how do you find a platform that's familiar to what they know now, doesn't require much, education and onboarding, and something where they can engage with straight away. And if you can get those points right, then we can start to integrate or evolve the Web3 experience in terms of some of the infrastructure that you need, like Web3 wallets, purchasing crypto, transferring NFTs from, using interoperability NFTs across different chains and that kind of thing. And it's something that we're focusing on, and we've talked a lot with our esport teams. And, something we even notice in their marketing is that they tend to shy away from certain terms such as NFTs as well, and they market them in a different way. And what's really interesting about that is that they understand that their fans at the moment aren't necessarily looking for that monetary validation from, investing their time into the game or what it might be, but they're looking for the experience. And when you market the experience that they get out, or the engagement with their team that they get out of, participation, we see the excitement value just go through the roof on that. So something at Yesports that we've done is we've worked out a way to integrate a Web2 experience on our platform, powered by Web3. And what I mean by that is things like we've incorporated a checkout system where users can create their wallet using an email address, and they validate the email address, and that opens up their first Web3 wallet, and they can view all their NFTs through that email address, purchase their experiences through credit card as well. And then these are just baby steps into the Web3 world, but they can activate rewards and experiences straight away. I think the first month with Talon, which is the first product that we just launched. So what this does is it brings them across to the platform, and then their users, and they start activating their direct rewards with their esport team, and participating in it that way. And then as a platform, we develop these partnerships such as we have with Kitsumon, which is very exciting, and we bring across the play to earn games to this neutral zone, you might call it, which is the Yesports platform. It's kind of a bridge between those millions of esport fans through their teams, and then play to earn games can start to plug in through different avenues. And one of the first avenues that we're exploring at the moment is a play to earn focused NFT launchpad. And NFT marketplaces are quite unfamiliar, and they're also a turn off with the language to certain gamers, a big portion of gamers that don't really want to venture into the Web3 world. But we're building out private project storefronts for each partner that we have. So you can imagine, instead of going onto a marketplace and trying to have to navigate you around through a highly saturated series of in-game assets from different blockchains, and it all gets very confusing very quickly, you just click on the game that you're interested in playing. So it's Kitsumon, you go in there, and then it's all the different Kitsus and all the different in-game assets available, and it's branded out according to the Kitsumon brand kit, and it's all very familiar. And then you can make that purchase using your Web3 wallet via email and your credit card. So then that gaming experience is just like using any other platform that's out there in a Web2 world. But behind the scenes, what's happening is it's all powered by blockchain, it's powered by Web3. And then you imagine over a 12-month or 18-month period, the play-to-earn games and the metaverse is happening, and then play-to-earn games can stream alongside new partnerships with esports teams that are looking to connect with play-to-earn games in the metaverse itself, which, the metaverse itself is a familiar experience, and we find that fans are quite comfortable with the idea of a metaverse and having an avatar, just like being in a game. So there's another neutral zone that we can leverage to familiarize Web3 very quickly to traditional gamers. And then when they see their esport teams making partnerships with different play-to-earn games, and live streaming those events or doing co-branded events within the Yesports metaverse, they're very much more likely to go and try out that game And another thing, that we're focusing on, and you touched on before, is there's been however many play-to-earn games created, especially across the boom, and a lot of them were mechanisms to earn. But we're focusing on games such as Kitsumon, which have amazing ecosystems, amazing game loops, and amazing game story. So these high-level games that are actually going to engage fans, because we want to deliver that experience first, allow that growth on the platform first, and then we, play-to-earn games and Web3 gaming and can look to offer that monetary sort of validation that comes from playing the games, where fans will then become interested in going, hey, actually, yeah, I can make a few bucks from this as well, on top of having these experience and these in-game assets. So I think that's the evolution that we need to look at, and I think that's sort of a natural way to get traditional gamers to come across that bridge.
Awesome. Yeah, I think you touched on it as well. Is longevity is really important. I would say it's easy to make games, but the development team behind Kitsumon is working 24/7 at the moment for obviously the launch coming up. But for me, it's like you have to also have a longevity plan for games. You think of all the huge successful esports games out there, some of which I've played for many years. I'm a big Rainbow Six fan, Rocket League fan, but also there's games that we have to admire, like PUBG. You've got obviously League of Legends and Fortnite to an extent as well. All these big, powerful games have been around for like four to 6 years now, just constantly going. But I saw some data the other day, which is really exciting. So in terms of the amount of people that play games, in terms of online capacity competitively, for the first time, obviously games like Alien Worlds and Axie Infinity have been around for a few years now. They've started to bridge the gap a bit, and actually are starting to enter the top 10 games that are most played in terms of competitiveness and, as I said, engagement within the game. So this is a really exciting time, because you rewind the clock back a few years when these games first started, and it does take a few years for the establishment of this. But if we're talking about mass adoption and the numbers that we know that are in Web3 right now, we know sometimes, yes, it is market driven in terms of price of tokens and stuff like this. But when people look beyond the price token and they look at this as actually the game first, and then the mechanism behind it is tokenomics and play to earn, view to earn, all this stuff, it becomes easier for people to go, actually, yeah, this is just gaming. It's just got a really unique technology behind it. And before we go into some further developments of Yesports, I just wanted to pick your brains, Matt, because for me personally, one of my favorite exciting topics is interoperability within games. And I think this is an important factor from the use case of gaming in Web3 compared to the traditional market. And for those that aren't really familiar with interoperability factors of gaming, if you think about how blockchains can be interoperable and finance can be as well, gaming is no different, especially with the aspect of NFTs. So, for example, we got some great game partners out there already, but we're already working in the background to be able to host each other in each other's worlds, and even users who own land will be able to have venues built into their land to host tournaments, esports tournaments, with revenue drives from branding and screens within the stadiums and stuff like this. Is really cool. But what excites me the most as a gamer is that I could take my avatars or my creatures or characters or even items subject to game lore across to other worlds. And I think, as I mentioned earlier, there's an individual gameplay method here and combining your favorite games, but also from a humongous mega structure, which is something that is not possible in the traditional gaming world right now. For example, you can't take certain items from Call of Duty into another game because it just doesn't work. But we have a unique ability in this space to create something huge. And this is where the conversation of the metaverse really kicks in. And this is where you get more of an understanding, is you as an avatar, you as a user can jump in and out of these worlds, but you can also take your owned assets and characters into these other worlds as well. So from your side, Matt, what I'm thinking is near down the line, we're going to have an experience where people are either watching online or attending live events where, whether it's VR, XR, or through the game consoles or platforms themselves, or through yourselves, Yesports, people are going to have this mega opportunity to combine loads of different games together in one go. Could you imagine an ultimate tournament, a battle royale with different capacities that those games offer? What do you think about interoperability at gaming, and how do you see that affecting esports moving forwards as well, Matt?
Amazing concept, and I really back it. But it's one of those things where it's got to be done right as well, because I understand, certain gamers don't want to dilute or saturate or sort of words that I see thrown around there, like poison the games that they're in, because they just see that that's their game, and they don't want to have to bring other assets in that might change the way the game's played or create uneven like different levels of fairness across the game itself. However, there's definitely, I think it's a natural evolution, and we're going to see it happen, and it brings with it so many different possibilities in the future as well. I was thinking as you're talking there, like, who's going to do the first decathlon esport event where you're playing Call of Duty for 2 minutes and then it switches to Fortnite or that kind of thing, and you're just constantly rendering new worlds and you're choosing different assets from across there. When you think about it from a gaming point of view, it opens up a whole new skill set that you're going to need to be able to bring in, and you can bring your time from another game that you're investing hours and hours into these games to get skins and NFTs and these kind of things, and you can use them across the board where it makes sense. And I think that's very exciting as well. And I think the pushback that we're seeing on interoperability from the traditional gaming side comes from some of these bigger brands that want to, put some hard walls around their projects and keep them within the same pool. When we start to think in a web3 mind in this decentralized manner, and people who are forward thinking that way, that's just totally sort of unnatural. And they go, well, if you can bring games, guns or weapons or kits or whatever it might be across from game to game, why shouldn't we? Because it really evolves the whole experience, as you're saying. And I think from an esports point of view, it's going to be very, very interesting to how that works as well, because a lot of players dedicate themselves just to one game, and then if you're going to be the leader in Counter-Strike and then they blend that with Fortnite or whatever the game might be, it can be very challenging. You've run the 100-meter sprint your whole life, and now suddenly you have to be good at the 400-meter sprint as well. Maybe is a way to look at it. But I think in the Web3 world and Web3 gamers that are in now, it's going to be very interesting over the next 12 months to see how it comes to life. And as you're saying, a lot of projects are doing it. And when we see it done, carefully and cautiously so that it doesn't affect the gameplay itself, but allows for growth in the industry, I think, the value is going to come forward very quickly.
That's awesome. Great points. Before we go, Matt, into a few questions, I think some people have managed to get some access to speak. If you would like to ask a question, just request that, and I can put you in the background. We'll queue you guys up. Really cool to see some interaction on that level. Matt, tell us what's coming up with Yesports, where's coming weeks, coming months into 2023. If you've got any secrets you want to share with us, and while you're talking, I'll line up some of these questions from some of the guys out there as well.
Yeah, fantastic. So our big focus at the moment's launching our NFT memberships with our signed team. So we have 10 signed teams, as I mentioned, with roughly 30 million fans waiting to get their hands on these experiences. And we've just launched our first one with Talon out of Southeast Asia. So their memberships are now online at yesports.gg. And over the next months until January, we'll be launching our next 9 esport organizations on the platform. So that's the focus on our esport teams at the moment, is getting our teams launching their experiences and unlocking their experiences and driving value to their fans on an easy to use platform. That's, I think the first step was once we get the esport fans comfortable on that platform, interacting and engaging with their teams, so we can really start to launch some very exciting things. On the play to earn front, we're looking to launch our NFT market launchpad for play to earn projects where they can build out their own unique storefronts at the end of October, start of November, which we're very excited about, because that's the first step in acting as the bridge for play to earn games into traditional gamers. So that's coming up at the moment, and we've just done a couple of announcements with play-to-earn partners like yourselves with Kitsumon and Clay Dice, which is one of the leading teams projects on the Clayton network as well. And we have a couple more in the pipeline to come out this month, which I can't announce yet, but keep your ears open because those announcements will be coming. And then we can start really focusing on how it all ties together as our NFT play-to-earn partners start launching their NFTs on their unique storefronts, how that ties into our esport teams and the experiences they're offering to their fans, and then bringing in the metaverse around Q4 this year in a beta level, and then looking to expand its operability through Q1 next year. So that's really the flow that we're working with now. Get these esports fans engaging with their teams, bring on play-to-earn partnerships, and build out their unique team storefronts for them to launch their in-game assets in front of all the fans joining over the next 6 months, and then tying it all together with the gamified metaverse early next year.
Awesome. Brilliant. Thank you for that, Matt. There's some super exciting things coming our way for sure. And just to reiterate as well, do keep an eye out, guys, on the Yesports socials for all the updates. And of course, we'll be sharing those out with excitement as well, as and when they arrive to you all. So yeah, thanks for that, Matt. So I think we have a lineup of people requesting to speak. Let's plow through these. First of all, I'm going to bring in, I think, hopefully you got this right, Latif Rilwan. So I'm just going to release you to speak. Yeah, the floor is yours, my friend. Hopefully we can figure out how to... There we go. Yeah, go for it, my friend.
Yeah, thank you so much. How are you? Good morning. How are you doing?
Yeah, really well, Latif. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, thank you so much. I would like to ask Yesports some questions concerning their project. So, Matty, can I go ahead?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I see that your project, your NFT is concerning like esports platform. So, if someone wanted to, because I can see in your website that there's some membership that is only through NFT that we can use to purchase or launch unlock some membership rewards. So, how can someone involved in getting those NFT so that we can access to those rewards? And also, I would like that there are some investors that are not really really well like those people that get a lot of fund to buy NFTs and they are interested in your project. Is there any plan whereby you there will be some NFT holder that will be able to lend the NFT to those kind of investors so that they can also earn some rewards in that part?
Okay, so the first part of that question was to do with accessing the NFTs, how to get your hands on an NFT. Is that correct, I think? So to do that, you head over to our website at www.yesports.gg. Their fans will be able to select the team that they want to purchase the membership from. Currently, right now, we just have Talon as they launched the end of August, but we have a couple of big teams launching at the very end of this month and then midway through next month. So by the end of December, we'll have by January, we'll have all the teams listed there. So you'll select the storefront that you want to go to. It'll take you to your team, and then you can compare the different awards across the 3 tiers. We have a gold tier, a platinum tier, and a diamond. Diamond being the most exclusive set of rewards. You can compare the rewards on offer and compare the prices to find the one that drives the most value to you as a user. And then you just click on buy now, and it's a very web2 e-commerce experience in that you insert your email address to open up a wallet and then make that purchase on your credit card, and then your NFTs in your newly created wallet, which you can view by entering your email into our product partner, which is paper.xyz, that we've integrated with. So it's a very easy process to purchase and see, and then you can activate all those utilities and rewards on the platform themselves. Talon are opening up their rewards at the end of this month, so it'll be very exciting for those that have purchased, and those that are looking to purchase this month. They'll be able to get straight into it come October. In terms of the investors, there's no such plan in terms of giving them NFTs as a form of investment reward. We've got 20 plus VCs that are backed and they view our vision and they see the potential in that, and they're very bullish on the esports platform and crossing over Web3 gaming through play-to-earn partnerships with esport teams as well. So we've got a very strong global team of VCs behind us, which is really exciting to see. So right now, we're pretty happy with where we're sitting on our roadmap and things to come, and we've got a very clear plan marching forward into 2023. So I don't think we will look to change too much of that.
Okay, thank you. I get the part, but there's still in the second part of the question is you haven't given me some information concerning that. I was talking that is there any chance of like me now I'm an NFT holder in your platform. Then there are some other investors that they do not really get the fund to buy the NFTs and they are ready to borrow the NFT. And why also there are some investors like that also that they are already trying to lend the NFT out. So will there be any forms of that in your project? That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, sorry. Now I understand that side of the question a bit better. Yeah, it's something that we've touched on very briefly. It wouldn't come until the platform's a little bit more mature because it's a very lending out NFTs and renting out NFTs. It's very cool and it's a very cool use case, especially for play-to-earn games as well. However, we've got to be very careful with how we onboard our traditional gamers and esports fans. We don't want to overload them too early on with Web3 infrastructure. But, as the platform matures and as we get the millions of esports fans interacting with the metaverse or with our play-to-earn partners and with their teams, these kind of Web3 actions, such as renting out and lending your NFTs, are things that we're going to explore in a lot more depth and just look for the right time to bring that into the platform so that it makes sense for a user onboarding journey. We're very cautious around, doing too much too soon, going too big too quickly. So it's definitely a good idea, and we hear you, and we think, that's something that we can look at in the future in 2023, the end of 2023, once we're very mature as a platform.
All right, thank you so much. I really understand it now. Thank you.
That's great. Thanks, Latif, for your questions. Thank you. So I think next we have Dime Tamara. So General X, I think, is the name here. If you'd like to unmute yourself and you can ask your question.
Hey guys, good day to y'all. Hello?
Welcome.
Yeah.
The floor is yours.
Yeah, so I wanted to know because I took a look at esports, and for a Web 3.0 esports platform, you guys are doing something really unique in the blockchain and crypto space. So I want to know about your team. Like, are you guys docs? You did mention you have a lot of venture capitals that are rooting for you globally. So can you just give us a little bit background about your team? Are you doxed? Has there been any audits for your team members and all that?
We're not. I wouldn't say that we're fully doxed. It's something that is when you start looking at conversations with some exchanges out there. You've got to be careful with doxing or full doxing. But we've got a very experienced team in terms of the Web3 space itself. We're not a very large team. We're around 12 altogether. But it's a 24-hour operation across all the continents I mentioned earlier in the conversation. Our founder, who'll be speaking on an AMA this Wednesday, if you want to hear him speak, as well as Sebastian Quinn, who is the founder of Yieldly as well, which is Algorand's leading DeFi suite as well. So a lot of experience there, building out DeFi functions and exploring Web3 as well. Our head of product and marketing is Ben Leroux, who speaks on a few AMAs over the last year. You might have caught him speaking as well, and he's background in senior marketing at Google as well, so brings a lot of experience with growth and product marketing to the table. And myself, obviously, if you missed my introduction, background in play-to-earn gaming, working alongside products such as Immutable X's Gods Unchained, looking at player validation and bridging that gap with trad gamers. And then we've got a dev team over in Canada that we work with there, who are on our team, as well as a full PR unit operating out of Singapore in the UK as well. So, semi-public team, but very cautious. So we don't want people thinking that the project relies on the team, because it's the product first and what we offer. And Yesports is, driving to be a decentralized community, and we're bringing in a lot of governance and voting. So once that platform's up and running, we really want to have a lot of input from our community as well, being gamers, to see where they, how they envision the future of the project.
All right, thank you. Speaking about just one more quick one. Speaking about being a decentralized community on Web3, understand your vision and all that, and a decentralized community works well. But I just want to know. Recently, we saw some issues with DAO-centered communities, whereby they, because of the voting power was given to everyone, they ended up making some really wrong decisions. So, do you have any mechanism to ensure that even though it's decentralized and everybody has a say, but that decisions that are best for the project are made in the end?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we have our roadmap and the product vision and the project vision very clear. So certain things we keep, that we would just put forward to, say, our VCs and big investors, in terms of the product itself. I think where it makes sense, because I think you make a great point, when you put all the power into the community, it can get very messy very quickly. So in terms of the governance, it's where it makes sense, and we want to have gamers' opinions on gaming related questions. So when it comes to bridging that gap that Simon and I have been discussing between trad gamers and esports and Web3, we'd love to get the input of our community on those kind of things. Some of the more bigger internal decisions and company sort of growth decisions and all this kind of stuff, it doesn't necessarily make sense to put that to your community and have them involved in absolutely every aspect. But we really want to focus them on the experience aspects of the product and how they're viewing it, how they think it can be improved, and just take that on board.
All right, thank you.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Thank you, Dom Tamara, for that question. We will rattle through. We've got a few more. Are you okay for time, Matt? I think you were very popular today. So
yeah,
cool.
Not a problem. Happy to keep going.
Yeah, Son Adam, if you wanted to unmute yourself, my friend, and then you can ask your question.
Hey, bro, what's up?
Hey,
How are
Son.
you doing? All yours, my friend, all yours.
Okay, so my question is, staking NFT is very warm. Do you think you will apply NFT technology to your products in their future? Do you have to meet any condition for this?
NFT staking, was that?
NFT staking is very warm.
Yeah. So to talk about staking being a Web3 platform, we're very focused at Yesports on utility, especially when it comes to the Yesports token. So building out utility functions for that token, which makes sense on the platform. We're currently looking at a whole host of different sort of stake to engage mechanisms, especially with our play to earn partners, which holders of the token can stake to get access to different NFT white lists or different drops that play to earn partners might be doing, or esport teams might be doing as well. And I think that makes a lot of sense in that use case as well, especially from a marketing and then driving sort of awareness point of view, but also helping to encourage to engage, helping our fans to engage with the platform in a Web3 setting as well. As far as staking the NFT itself, it's not something that we're looking at doing too much early on, as sort of similar to the first question there. These kind of more intense Web3 functions we'll look to add in later once the product's really up and running and that bridge is solidified between trad gamers and Web3 gamers.
Okay, is that answered your question, Son Adam, or do you have any others that you wish to ask?
Hello, sir. I have another question. Please, you ask me.
Go for it, of course.
Okay. My question is, what different things you have done to attract more people to buy your token?
That's not something we're going to touch on today. There's certain things we don't want to discuss in terms of purchasing the token. We're a fully regulated project as well, so when it comes to token purchasing and all that, we won't touch on that today. What I'm happy to touch on, though, is sort of side related to that question again, is just the utility of the token and the product first. So what we're very excited at Yesports is delivering the product first in terms of our NFT memberships to our esports fans, because that's really strengthening the project and the platform itself to have, you know, an ecosystem that's already alive and well, and fans accessing their rewards and all that across the platform first, and then looking at how the token's going to tie into that later. But, you know, at the forefront of any token conversation is always our utility and how we're looking to, you know, create as many different utility functions for that token on the platform where it makes sense.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you, Son Alan, for those questions. We'll go straight through. I think Peter Griffin, hopefully I got this right, Ayumid Joe 1, if you want to jump on and ask your question, all yours.
Beautiful, beautiful. Hey guys, how you doing?
Good, man. Thanks for joining.
Matt, is everything. Beautiful projects, amazing explanations, all right? But I wanted to ask a question, right? Okay. With everything you've said so far, can you explain which one is your top priority? Is it the security, is it the product, or is it the partnership? Thank you.
Yeah, it's a good question. I think parallel to each other is product and partnership. You know, in a Web3 world, we're only really as strong as each other, and this is why we're partnering with top-level games such as Kitsumon, is because we can really advance together. But the purpose, of course, of the partnerships with Kitsumon and Yesports is to engage our communities with each other's products and look how those products can then overlap. So as much as, you know, we have a big focus right now on building out a lot of play-to-earn partnerships and helping to grow that network, and acting as the bridge for these play-to-earn projects to access our fan base and then, you know, team up with certain esport teams along the way. But for that to be successful, you know, we really need to focus on the product as well and delivering value to the people who are going to be accessing that product. At the moment is the NFT memberships, and getting those launched. And it's not something you can just launch all at one time. You know, a lot of people are wondering why we didn't just launch all the teams all at once, but we need to give each team the space because it's very new for them as well to market them correctly and sell that product and explain the experience and get their fans used to using the platform as well. So I guess to directly answer your question there, it's a parallel venture between product and partnership.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so I have one last question, and that is it. Thank you so much for your patience. Okay, so I came a few minutes late into the space, so I didn't get most of the important things you spoke about, because I'm sure that our host asked you a lot of questions. So can you just, in 3 words or in 3 sentences, can you just give me can you just convince me why I should believe in your project? Thank you so much.
Yeah, sure. Let's go to the NFT memberships and think about this from an esports point of view. And I'll give you the 3 pitch points right here. Is fully customizable fan-first NFT membership reward system. You're not going to find that anywhere else. Rapid market deployment, 48 hours from putting your team's rewards into the NFTs, you'll be on the market and ready to go. And a full set of admin controls and dashboard controls for teams to edit their utility on the fly, plus be able to edit their team storefronts. So from an esport point of view, total product control without having to worry about the Web3 tech is a dream come true. And from an esport team, that's very powerful.
Awesome. Thank you for those questions. Really, really good. I'm going to plow through these. They keep coming, Matt. Sorry.
That's all good. I'm good for time, so it's all
good.
Sweet.
Cool. We got Spark here. 007 Maxwell. If you want to unmute yourself, and the floor is yours, my friend.
Hello. Am I audible, Mother Chod?
Hello. Welcome.
Yeah. Thank you. So my question for you is, do you have a plan to attract non-crypto investor to join in? Because as you know that success of a project attract more investors who haven't yet entered into the crypto world. So what are the plans to raise awareness about in the non-crypto space about your project?
Yeah, we're in a very fortunate position here at Yesports to have our 10 esports partners across the globe, and the way that we engage these non-crypto communities is through our partner and co-marketing with these esport teams. So, we're very in close contact with our teams, and we run all sorts of different campaigns with them to drive awareness to their communities. Because at the end of the day, what we're offering the teams is the tech that they need to deliver the experience. So it works really, really well. So can you hear me?
Hello.
Yeah. So basically, that's the way we do that. We go in through partner marketing and access their communities that way, because they're not necessarily looking across the crypto Twitter or different various platforms where crypto advertising is taking place. But we're very fortunate to have access to their fans, directly through their social medias, their Twitch accounts, whatever it might be.
Yes, that's a great question, and just to reiterate some points as well. I think we earlier on in the AMA we discussed as well about the education factor is really important across the board, particularly when you're speaking to people who don't know things like what is a crypto wallet, or how they can get involved in buying NFTs, selling NFTs, being part of the game itself. Because obviously to explore some of the esports factors in some circumstances, you would require to be engaged with that game in a certain way. So it's really important, and bridging that point that Matt made in the last question about partnerships and integrations is there's a really big strategy behind this, because yes, as I said, you've got a marketing area, but you've also got an opportunity together to build the audiences, but also educate people more. And I think that collectively we'll do this very well with the information that we share out. We go into big detail with lots of different articles, lots of different videos, both together and individually as projects, to educate our users, but also people outside of the Web3 space. This is very important, because you could argue that many people in Web3 are still learning, but they probably do know the basics of how to get involved. But outside of Web3, it's literally almost like looking through the window and wondering like, oh, this looks really interesting, but I don't know where to start. I don't know how to get involved. So it's really important, individually and as partnerships, that we work together to try and bridge this. It's a really big point and a very good question. So hopefully collectively that's answered. 007 Maxwell, do you have any other questions? Otherwise we'll pass on to the next one, but thank you.
Yeah, I have one more question for you. So to play your game, what is the minimum requirement of USDT I have to pay you?
Well, in general, actually, the game itself, Kitsumon, is two elements to it. There's a free to play mechanism. We also have a rental program being built in right now as well, to give people the opportunity who perhaps don't want to buy the NFT, or they want to try it out, or further down the line, if certain NFTs or applications become too expensive, they can be able to rent them. So to answer your question, is not really a minimum or a maximum amount. Of course, like if you want to get involved in things like purchasing creatures and land and items, there's of course different values to this. But all I will say is, Maxwell, is keep an eye on constantly on our socials and our information articles, because we do deliver a lot of information. We have a marketplace as well, which defines all the different values and costs of things if you wanted to go down that route. But one of the key important factors, and I'm sure Matt will echo this, is being as inclusive as possible. You can't just bring a game out and expect people to constantly spend money or have to spend loads of money to play a game. This removes a big number of people, but also doesn't have much of a fun inclusivity factor to it. So whilst we've got all these crypto mechanisms, play to earn, view to earn, etc., of course, one of the number one goals is the game. The gaming should be worldwide. It should be allowing anyone and everyone to join across the world, wherever you are, but also be applicable to as many people without having to spend loads and loads of money. Of course, it depends on as well, if you want to advance in the game, you might want to, but we want to be open as possible. But this is a really important point to be inclusive, and I believe that Matt will echo that Yesports is about this as well, especially with esports.
Yeah, no, 100%. I have to agree across the board on that. And I think you touched on a really good point. The games, we need to challenge games, or games are challenged by the industry itself, and especially with trad gamers, to create a game loop and a good game experience, because that's what gamers want at the end of the day. That's what they're there to do. A true gamer is there to play and to enjoy and to have an entertainment reward on that. So being able to validate the experience with joy and entertainment and all the different reasons people play games is the first and foremost. That's why, we always say it's play to earn, right? It's play first, and then those functions and those mechanisms can come second.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, thank you for those questions, Maxwell. If you do have any others, by all means, raise your hand. We'll get you back in. I was just going to plow through this. We're going to have David next. Hopefully you got this right. Hafiza B84. If you want to unmute yourself, and you can ask away.
Okay, am I audible, sir?
You're all good. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for the opportunity. My question is, what are the challenges you are trying to solve in the next 6 to 12 months? What role do you see the esport is playing with the Web2 and Web3 world? That's my question. Thank you.
Yeah, so again, I think it's really at the heart of the whole platform itself, and partnerships with Kitsumon is the problem that we are solving in real time is building that bridge between two worlds, between the traditional gamers and the Web3 world and all that's to offer them there, and to help esport fans also, esport teams rather, build that bridge to better drive value to their fans as well, and I think we've definitely solved that problem now, and it's about just getting all the products out there for our esports teams to start being able to engage with their fans and drive those experiences and launch the next millions of fans into the Web3 world. And then sort of, from a 6 month perspective across the 12 months is just a big focus on growth and maturing the platform itself, but also bringing in, as many play to earn games of quality that, will benefit from the platform, and we can benefit from their partnerships as well, that we can just sort of, I think, at the forefront of Simon and Kitsumon's mind as well is just building out that network and looking at ways that everyone can work together to create a very viable space for traditional gamers to come in.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Keep going, keep building, sir.
Thank you, David. That's awesome. We're going to move across to, I think we got Crypto Daddy here, Elizabeth. Oh, who's that?
Can I ask my question?
Yeah, so you're in a queue, my friend. Just wait a moment. Sorry about that, guys. So we have Crypto Daddy, Elizabeth PK. If you want to unmute yourself, the floor is yours.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for opportunity. My question is, there should be enough funds to take up any project. Along with this, it is necessary to have market power as well. How do you convince us you have adequate marketing power and capital to push this project to the top project? Because without proper marketing and capital infusion, project die. How do you convince us?
Yeah, feel free to jump onto our marketing website, info.yesports.gg, and you can have a look at the world-leading VCs that we have behind the project from almost day one. We're up to 20 plus VCs now, and a range of launchpad partnerships as well, and we've got, so it just shows that the VC power behind the project is very, very strong, and we often do AMAs with them as well. So watch out for those. In terms of the marketing, as we touched on before, we're building out these networks, and we have strong networks with 10 esport teams, plus our play to earn projects, plus some Web3 partners as well. And I think, what makes sense in terms of marketing in Web3 is co-marketing along partner networks and activating different communities. And, we've seen a lot of growth from that itself. But the other thing that, we're very focused on in terms of marketing, and as what Simon was mentioning before, is that education marketing and product marketing as to why esport fans are going to benefit from this, and how it's going to change their experience as fans, and help them, traverse that sideline and come across and actually join their teams in the gaming experience. as well. So, I think that's we're doing very well, and we're seeing a lot of success in that style of marketing. And, we have a fully comprehensive product and platform, so there's a lot of different angles to excite people from different communities, whether they're non-crypto or crypto or gamers or trad gamers. We've got a little bit of something for everybody. And with the 20 plus VCs backing the project, it's a well-oiled machine, I would say.
Awesome. Any further questions, Elizabeth PK?
Hello.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Looking forward to the progress and success of Yesports.
That's great. Thank you for joining. Brilliant. On to the next one. I think we've got Sophia here, Wales 143. If you want to unmute yourself, and off you go.
Hello,
Sophia.
sir.
I think if you unmute yourself.
Hello.
Okay. Let's move. Sophia, I don't know if you can hear us, but you can join whenever you're ready. But for now, let's go to Oliver Zaman Tisova. Hopefully I got that pronounced correctly. If you want to unmute yourself and ask away.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Hello, all good.
So my question: can you share your social media link so we can keep ourselves updated?
Social media, yeah, of course we can. We have all of those already on our websites collectively. But yeah, for sure, at the thread of this AMA, we'll put the links on there for you. So you have those after the AMA, no problem. Yeah, thank you for mentioning that. That's a good point. Sophia, I think you're back with us now, Wales 143, if you want to unmute and you can ask your question.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello, all good, thank you.
Okay, my question is, how has the experience and background of your team been effective in the success of your project so far?
I would say, we've got a strong team across Web3 from different assets. We've got people on our team that are very experienced in decentralized finance applications, and then myself and a few other members come from a gaming background and a play to earn background, which obviously brings a lot of value to the company as well. And then we have a very strong team in our PR and marketing who have been doing a lot of Web3 public relations, communications, and this kind of thing. So, we're very strong at getting the word out there about what we're doing and putting it in the right place as well. So I think, our team's very well versed across the board in terms of marketing, PR, BD in the Web3 world, especially, having a founder that's built several Web3 applications already. It's not our first rodeo in the space, so to say. So, I think it's fair to say that we're a very experienced team, I would say, when it comes to Web3.
Yeah, brilliant question, Sophia. And just to reiterate from our side, pretty similar. Our CTO and CEO in general are also developers and programmers, so they're actually helping towards building the game as well as operating things across the business. And yeah, for sure, our experience in terms of creatives, game development here and marketing as well. The team is phenomenal. Lots of experience. Me personally, over 12 years now of marketing and maybe only a few years in gaming itself, but the passion and love for gaming makes it a lot easier in this space for sure. But yeah, both welcoming the projects together, Kitsumon and Yesports. It's really fantastic to have two amazing teams working together. It makes it 10 times easier, and the goals and the opportunities are clear in both minds. So it does make everything a lot smoother for sure. But yeah, thank you for that question, Sophia. A really interesting one to ask. We're going to move to Bullish Pizza, Beat World 6. If you want to unmute yourself, my friend, and you can ask your question.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, all good. Thank you.
Awesome. So my question is Yesports is a Web3 community platform where project channels, users, and validators can build new connections in an extraordinary way, right? So What are your main initiatives to engage communities, and what economy opportunities do you offer with the Web3 model?
I'm not sure if I got your question 100%, but you're asking about our ways to engage the community.
Yeah, right. And I'll ask the second part of that.
What was the second part of the question? Sorry.
Sofia, तेरी माँ की चूत.
What economy opportunities do you offer with the Web3 model?
All right, gotcha. Yeah, cool. So in terms of engaging our audience, it's this experience first model basically, and what that means is by leveraging the power of NFTs, we deliver real life and digital experiences that fans can access straight away. And I think it's very important to drive that point home, that by leveraging esports, you get a tangible experience. A lot of projects in the space looking to onboard big communities have fallen short on that, and that the experience, whether it's the game or the platform that you're engaging with, doesn't deliver in terms of a validating experience. But I think at Yesports, as soon as you participated by holding one of our NFT memberships, you're automatically unlocking a series of rewards. And in terms of an economic model, it's not at the forefront of what we're doing at our platform, and I think Simon was leaning into that before when we're talking about play to earn functions. Where the good games and the high quality games are very focused on the play function, and then they have that added level of depth by bringing in crypto mechanics and Web3 mechanics that can offer ways for fans or players to generate an income or something, or an earning on that. But at Yesports, we're an experience-based platform, and I think that's very important to drive that point home. What we see is that fans want to engage their teams, and we offer a medium and a very strong pathway for teams to allow that to come into fruition for their fans. And I think that's where we want to maintain that focus, that we're trying to build out the Web3 gaming world, bridge it across to the Web2 gaming world, and through experiences and through partnerships, we make that possible.
Awesome. Bullish Pizza, did you have any further questions?
Yeah, I have. My next question is, what are the challenges you are trying to solve in the next 6 to 12 months? Like market situation is also bad, and what role do you see Yesports is playing within the Web2 and Web3 world as well?
I think that's a repeat question, I believe, but I'll just touch on those points again. We're just really focusing on building out our NFT marketplace with our play to earn communities to help start building these bridges between the two worlds of traditional gamers and play to earn projects, as well as building out those avenues for our teams to unlock their experiences and drive that value back to their fans. That's really the next big 6 months focus.
Yeah, that's right. We did follow that question. This AMA is recorded as well, so if you want to hear the longer version of that answer, you can for sure play it back after this has finished, and we'll be sharing this on socials as well. Rattling through the last few, Matt. So James Mary, hopefully is Nisad Roman, I believe. If you want to unmute yourself and ask away. If you can hear me. James Mary.
Lordy, Sophia.
Hello.
Hello,
sir.
Hello. Yes. Hello. Ask your question. The floor is yours.
Can I say my question?
Of course, please.
Sir, my question is. Hello.
Hello. Yep.
Sir, my question is.
Sophia.
According to you, on which do you focus more, on community or on your token sale? Would you tell us that from how the user can buy the token, and is everyone can buy token? This is my question.
100% community. We're absolutely focused on our community and bringing value and experience and interactive platform to our community, and also the communities of our partners as well, because it's always looking at mutually beneficial ways to drive our partnerships. So we're 100% community focused from the get-go, and I think that's very important in the Web3 world, especially when it comes to gaming. as well, and it's something that we can learn from Web2 gaming, that strong communities drive strong games and strong gaming platforms as well. So, we're very much leaning into that model. Jump onto our Discords and our Telegrams, which you'll be able to find across our Twitter or on our website. You'll be able to find those links. And when it comes to the time that we look to launch the token, you'll find we'll have all the announcements there on ways you can purchase that when the time comes.
Brilliant. Thank you again for these great questions. I think we're on the last few. Actually, I think we've got Son Adam coming back in from earlier. I think you have one more question, if you can hear, and unmute yourself. Maybe not. Son Adam, you have 5 seconds.
Yes.
There we go.
Sir.
There we go.
What are your top priorities for 2023 year?
Okay, I think we may have lost you there. Hello, Eddie. Yeah, do you want to ask your question?
What are your top priorities for 2023 year?
For 2023, we'll look to expand our esports, continue to expand our esports ecosystem with different teams across the world as well. And then the other thing that we'll start really looking to do is activate our play-to-earn partnerships and look at ways that we can connect them in our gamified esports-centric metaverse. And that's really exciting because there's a whole host of different things that we can do there. And having great partnerships like Kitsumon, we'll start to explore the different avenues that we can all work together to really create this Web3 gaming hub, I guess you could call it, or network that we're all a part of. So that once by 2023, we expect the platform to be up and running and all the currently signed teams to be pretty much launched by then. And we'll look to start getting new teams on board and look at different ways that we can engage our esports teams with each other as well. We've got some friendly rivalries in there. 2023 is just a really great year for expansion and growth, and starting to see very clearly how the play-to-earn community bridges into the esports world.
Awesome. Brilliant. Thank you for that question, Eddie. Absolutely brilliant. I think we'll do the last question here. This one from Oliver. Zaman Tusifa, hopefully you can hear me and unmute yourself when you're ready and you can ask away. Oliver, hopefully can hear me. Otherwise we'll move to Nick Hill, who's just joined as someone who wants to ask a question. If we can't get hold of you, let's give this 2 seconds. Otherwise, we had a lot of questions here in this AMA, which is absolutely fantastic. Clearly, everyone's very excited about the space and what we're doing. Unfortunately, Nick, I don't think it's connecting. If you can hear me and you can unmute yourself, you can ask away.
Hi.
Hello. If you would like to ask your question. Okay, well, in that case, maybe not. So I guess, Matt, that kind of wraps us up, to be honest. There's a lot of questions there. Thank you for your patience and answering as many as possible. I think we covered some really cool topics as well. As I mentioned to everyone out there, this AMA is recorded, so for sure listen to it afterwards, or if you're listening after this AMA is live, you're welcome, and hopefully you've enjoyed it as well. But any last remarks, Matt, before we close this off? It's been a fascinating discussion and some really good questions as well.
Yeah, no, 100%. Big thanks to everyone that joined the conversation, and stay tuned. Make sure you jump into the Yesports community as well as the Kitsumon community, and join us on this incredible journey that we're about to take part of in bridging these two worlds together. So, looking forward to that venture ahead.
Exactly. Couldn't have said it better myself. Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to the things to come. especially within the sort of esports arenas with you guys at Yesports. And hopefully everyone's going to enjoy the journey and enjoy the exciting announcements that we'll have coming very soon as well. But yeah, thanks everyone for joining, and it's been an absolute pleasure to have Matt and Yesports collectively on this AMA. So thanks very much, Matt, for your time, and thanks everyone for asking all your questions and listening in. And we'll for sure be catching up with each other in the very near future. So thanks very much, Matt.
Awesome. Thank you, Simon. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.
Nice one, guys. Thanks for joining, and we will all see you soon. Take care and bye-bye.
Bye-bye.